Well, good morning, sunshine. It's a great day in the Florida Keys, and I'm glad that you're spending some time with me. Hey, I'm changing around our walkie-talkie a little bit today because we're starting a new day, we're starting a new idea, we're starting a new rhythm, and I want you to have firmly in your mind and in your heart and in your vision what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about today is boats. You know, I love boats. I love being on boats. I love riding on boats. I love going fast on boats. I love slow boats. I love if it's floating, I like it, unless I have to power it myself by my own energy. And even then, it's okay to go kayaking or canoeing or rowboating. But what a boat is designed for is to hold you up in a space where you would normally sink. And I want you to think about that a moment this morning as we begin this beautiful day, and as you kind of take time out of your day to take 3 minutes with me on this walkie-talkie. I stopped in the middle of this walk here at the edge of Plantation Yacht Harbor Marina and Executive Bay Marina. You can see both of them in the foreground of what we're talking about here, just to talk about the float of your life and designing your life. Whoa, I almost turned over there. Designing your life to be a floating life. In other words, a life that not only can sustain you, but also can sustain others and keep them from sinking. I think it's an amazing thing when we have buoyancy in our life, when our life has the ability to not just succumb to the circumstances around us, but to rise above them and to keep the circumstances of life that would normally want to sink us, that may want to drown us, that may want to pull us down, that may even want to pull us into a dangerous place, that we can stay up on top of those circumstances. You know, one of the great truths and lessons that I've learned from Scripture over the years is how to see the design of God for me to always be on top of my circumstances. To not be under my circumstances, but to always understand that there are circumstances around me. Those circumstances can be dangerous, they can be fruitful, they can be a lot of things. But for me to stay on top, I've got to create a life of buoyancy. And how do you create a life of buoyancy? Here's what you do. You get spirit in your life. You know, the Greek word and even the Hebrew word for spirit comes from the root word of breath. And I want you to think about that. Take a deep breath. Take breaths in your spiritual life that will stay on the inside of you and allow you to stay up above the circumstances. How do you take breath spiritually in order to live a floater life, or a life that's over the circumstances? Here's the first thing you do. You hear from God. The best way to learn how to hear from God is to read the Bible. And you say, oh, well, that cancels me out. I can't read it. I can't understand it. I'll tell you something. There are ways for you to read and understand. And I will give you a great plan. I've already designed it, and for just 30 days of how to learn how to hear God in His Word, and then how to talk to God in prayer. Those two things are the two primary, now there's other things, but those are the two primary things to build a life that floats. So here's Phil from a floaty talkie today, encouraging you to live above, float above, even float in securely your circumstances. I'll see you next week. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.